when Ezra first came home after his transplant, he had, I think, 6 or 7 dosing times a day, including a couple times throughout the night. And so our sleep was really bad. And it was a lot of doses and a lot of medicines that were either in similar bottles or had similar names or had like physical characteristics that were similar. 2 white pills, or 2 clear liquids that sort of had a yellow tint and that kind of thing. And so we quickly kind of realized that it was going to be really easy for us to make mistakes because of the number of medicines, because of the dosing, the amount of dosing times he had, and also because we were awake in the middle of the night when we should have been sleeping. And so our thought was, how do we reduce the strain on our minds at the times when our minds are most vulnerable, and how do we make it most easy to do it right and get the right ones and not make mistakes? So we got a filing box like this, and it has a little hole here where you can just put a lock through it and lock everything in there. And so this is where we would keep his medicines and the supplies for his medicines. So all the medicine would go in there. Some stuff had to go in the fridge, but if it didn't have to go in the fridge, it would go in here and be locked up so that the other kids couldn't get to it. And everything would be stored in here, all the medication and all the supplies, the syringes, that kind of stuff. And then we took his dosing schedule that had the times and the doses and everything, and we marked it up with colored Scotch tape, thinking it's going to be a lot easier to recognize a color or to match a color in the middle of the night when you're trying to give them doses or when it's dark outside or whatever than it is going to be to read the difference between 2 similar medication names that are sort of purposefully designed to be confusing and non-descriptive. So we marked up his medication schedule, and I didn't mark all of them, but just kind of a demonstration with the different colors, and we can combine colors, and you can do all sorts of creative things. It's pretty flexible in terms of how many you can do. And then when we would pull his medicine, we would take that same tape and mark up the syringes that we were using with the color that matched the color on the medication list. And then we would pull all his medications, and if we were pulling it, overnight, we'd pull ahead of time, so we're not pulling medicine in the middle of the night when we're really, really tired. We would pull it all in the evening after the kids went to bed and it was quiet, pull everything through the night. We would pull it, and then we would take the schedule and match it up against our doses, and we would each read off to make sure that we had done the right doses, using the right color syringe, and just sort of check each other's work. And then overnight, when we would dose him, we would take the schedule and lay it down on the table and look at the time, and then we would take the doses, which we had put ahead of time, into a little Tupperware that had that time on it. So we would take our dosing box, take the medicines out, and then we would lay them on the paper, covering the row or the medicine that they match up to, so that you would have at that dosing time all your medicines laid out. You could check the doses on the paper against the dose in the syringe, and you could check the color on the paper against the color on the syringe, and that would make sure that we weren't pulling and weren't getting confused in the middle of the night because we were real tired. And we found that really helped a lot, and it was a lot more efficient because pulling medicine doesn't take very long, but getting ready and putting everything away takes a long time. So if we could do it all at once, all right at 9 o'clock after the kids went to bed for overnight, rather than getting up at midnight, taking everything out, pulling everything, setting everything aside, putting it all back, putting it all away, we could get more sleep, and we could do it a lot quicker and make less mistakes. The medicine that has to go in the fridge, you can't store it, right? We would just store all the medicines in here in our locked cabinet, and then when it was time to give that dose, we would pull the box out and it would have the dosing time right on it with all the meds. Medicines that go in the fridge can't be stored there, so we would take these tongue depressors and just code them with color, and then we would pull that dose and store it in the fridge with that color. So when the time came, we'd be reminded, go to the fridge, there's a medicine in the fridge. Because a lot of times, at midnight and stuff, think about being up at 10 o'clock at midnight, about at 4 a.m., at 6 a.m., every night, night after night. This really helps. And it makes it really easy, and it makes it harder to miss things and harder to make mistakes.